All right, Algebra 1, here's your first objective, and it's to manipulate a linear equation into slope-intercept form. Now, just keep in mind that slope-intercept form is when we have it in y equals mx plus b form, okay? Y equals mx plus b. Remember that the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. And this format is very important because you cannot graph a linear function if it is not in slope-intercept form. So we have 3 examples that we're going to go over. Please make sure that you're copying this into your notes before you start the IXL assignment, okay? So let me stop sharing. Let me turn this video on so that we can go over it, okay? So I went over this. Again, it needs to be in this format in order to graph. So the first example that we have is 9x plus 7y equals 19. And as you can see, I've kind of like color-coded my notes already. I've identified where the slope is and I've identified the y-intercept. And the way that I identify that is the number in front of the x is the slope, and kind of the constant or the number that's hanging out with no variable is the y-intercept, okay? So in order to convert it, all I have to do is use inverse operations. So I see here that it's y equals mx plus b. So I need to get this 9x to this side. Since it's positive, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it from both sides. Now 19 and 9x are not like terms, so nothing happens there. They do not combine, they just kind of hang out together. So I get 7y equals, now that 9 is negative 9x, and this 19 is positive, plus 19. Now, some of you guys will get confused and say, okay, but it's in y equals mx plus b form, but it's not. As you can see here, the y has to be alone. In this example, the 7 is being multiplied by the y, and the inverse of that is division. So I'm going to go ahead and divide 7, every single thing by 7, okay? And then I'm going to cross them out. And then finally, I'm going to write y equals, now since 7 doesn't go into -9, it stays as a fraction, -9 over 7x plus, now you have an option, you can create a decimal here, or you can also leave that as a fraction. It'll just be 19 over 7. And this right here is your slope-intercept form. So you took this and you converted it to this, and because it's in this format, it's now graphable. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's look at another example, okay? So again, I've color-coded in advance. -8y plus 15x equals -13. So again, y equals mx plus b form. I got to get this bad boy over to this side. So since it's adding, I'm going to subtract it. Subtract 15x from both sides. Now they cancel here because they're inverses, but these two are not like terms, so they just hang out together. So I'm left with -8y equals, now because it has to be an mx plus b form, I'm always bringing that whatever has the x to the front, just as I did here, right? I did 19 minus 9x, and I brought the -9x to the front. So I'm going to do the same here. -15x, and then it says -13, okay? Again, I got to get that y alone. It's multiplying by that -8. The inverse is division, so I'm going to divide everything by a -8, okay? These cancel, all right? I'm left with y equals, now again, 8 doesn't go into 15 evenly, but I do know that two negatives make a positive. So I'm left with 15 over 8x. Now, same thing happened here. I have -13 divided by -8. Two negatives make a positive, so it's just going to be a plus 13 over 8. Now, the IXL that you guys have assigned tonight is going to be a lot easier than this. I just really wanted to show you some difficult examples. Now, we have another situation where there's more than one constant, and you guys just follow suit, okay? Remember, it has to be y equals mx plus b. So this 20y is going to stay here, but I got to move the 2x and the 10 over to the other side. So I'm going to start first by subtracting the 10 from both sides because they are like terms, and that's easy to kind of like handle. Cross this out. I'm left with 2x plus 20y equals -4 minus 10 is -14, okay? I'm going to then proceed and move that 2x. So subtract 2x from both sides. These cancel. I get 20y equals, now again, bringing that x to the front, negative 2x minus 14. Okay? And because my y is not alone, it is not simplified, so I have to divide every single thing by 20. Okay? Now this example is a little bit different, right? I don't get these improper fractions like I did in 1 and 2, okay? I'm going to be able to simplify my fractions in this example. So that 20 cancels, right? I'm going to go this way since I ran out of space. So now I'm going to have y equals, now, negative 2 over 20 simplifies to negative 1 over 10. So it's negative 1 over 10x. And then negative 14 over 20 simplifies to negative 7 over 10. This would be minus 7 over 10. Again, the y-intercept, you have the option of making it a decimal, or you could leave it as a fraction. Now, all of these examples have fraction examples for you. The IXL will have a much more simplified version. I just wanted you guys to have a video to reference if, in fact, you are encountered with fractions. Again, come to office hours if you need help. Get those IXLs done.